Hi everyone, it's Katie Crysdale here from Lakeview Aquatic Consultants. Welcome back to the Aquatic Industry Insider. A couple of months ago, I joined IAPA. They have a number of webinars they offer each month to members. One I attended recently, it was hosted by IBCCES, the International Board of Credentialing and Continuing Education Standards. They were talking about what IBCCES does. It was a really beneficial webinar to see what is out there in terms of facilities being able to increase the awareness, the training, the competency in the area of autism and cognitive neurodiversity. One of the very cool things that came out of that session is there was a brief presentation by one of the corporate leaders at Great Wolf Lodge. Great Wolf Lodge is a chain of indoor water parks with attached hotels and food amenities located throughout North America. I know a number of friends who've taken their kids there for a weekend and really enjoyed it as a staycation or fun family activity during the colder months here in Canada. One of the things I didn't think about until I went to this webinar was how obviously overstimulating, loud, an aquatic environment like that would be for somebody who is neurodivergent or autistic. In a public pool environment, we may be able to turn off the music that's playing on the radio. We may be able to turn down the lights. But when it comes to an actual water park, there's a lot more noises, a lot more things happening in the environment that can be really stressful for certain types of guests. The individual from Great Wolf Lodge shared their accessibility guide, and I was blown away by this resource, and I wanted to share it with you because it is a service that is offered by IBCCES to create a sensory guide for your aquatic facility, for your water park. I understand there's probably a cost to this and time and effort, but I was so impressed with this document. I wanted to share it and encourage those of you in aquatics to think about how could you implement something like this at your facility. The presenter shared that it can be really stressful for a family with an autistic or neurodivergent child to know what to expect at a facility before they arrive. And I can understand this empathetically just a small bit since my husband now walks with a cane. He has mobility restrictions, and I've started to notice my own mobility privilege in big spaces like airports, where the architecture is really hostile, and it's stressful if we land at a new airport and we have to go from one terminal to another. What is that going to look like for us? Are we going to make our connection? Is he going to be out of breath? Are we going to have to take breaks? And so I can only imagine how stressful it would be to be a parent who wants to take their family to a water park and to have an autistic or neurodivergent child and not know how they're going to react, or not know what to expect, or not know how it's going to go for the family if you don't know the noises, the smells, the lights, the sounds. What is that going to look like? This sensory guide is absolutely incredible. The idea is that you can download this guide before booking your trip, and you can access it in order to plan your visit. It provides lots of detailed information about the amenities available at the property in terms of the dry areas, the mini golf, the shopping areas, the food areas, and then it goes into the water park specifically. They go into an exact rating system in terms of 1 being a low sensory stimulation to 10 being a high sensory stimulation of the different areas of the water park, including the different slides. So you would then be able to plan your family outing knowing what to expect in these areas, and then in relation to your child or your family members' specific needs, how might they interact with these amenities, or how might it impact them? It then goes on into the specifics, which I love. So it takes a specific ride, in this case, Alberta Falls. It gives you the exact rating in terms of the number, but then it also describes what some of the concerns might be in those sensory experiences. So touch, taste, sound, smell, and sight. And this entire document goes through every amenity in the pool area with these pictures that make it really easy to prepare in advance to know where you're going. You could do this in conjunction with a map. And then you could highlight what parts of the facility your family plans to use, or what parts of the facility do you want to avoid, what parts of the facility might not be the right mix for your family. I'm not an expert when it comes to accessibility or specifically autism or neurodivergency. So knowing that this type of guide existed is absolutely mind-blowing to me. I can't believe more facilities are not offering something like this. I understand that there would be a cost to develop this, but the value added to all types of clients to be able to know what types of activities are available in the building and how might they impact people, not just for neurodivergent families, but for anybody who wants to plan a trip for any type of guest. Further on in the guide, it takes you through the dry attractions. So things like mini golf, Build-A-Bear, their mining activity. It takes you through what those areas look like, what they smell like, what might be the impact in terms of lighting, sensory overload, video games, ropes course. So not a lot to say about this other than it's a really cool idea. I would encourage you to follow IBCCES online. I've been following them on social media. I've been getting their newsletters. They have tons of great resources, opportunities to work with them directly, to hire somebody to help assessing your facility, implementing training, improving access to your facility. I really just wanted to highlight what an incredible resource Great Wolf Lodge is providing to their customers. I've never worked with Great Wolf Lodge. I've never actually been there as a customer or a guest, but this really set a high bar in my mind to increasing access for people who otherwise might avoid water parks, amusement parks, or public areas that are very loud and crowded. Do you do anything like this at your facility? Do you offer a sensory swim? Have you investigated what are the sensory cues or the sensory overload that occurs when your facility is in full operations? Are there any ways that you can modify your facility to meet the needs of different types of customers? Let me know what you're doing in the comments below. I'd really love to hear. Maybe this is a big area of our industry and I'm completely not clued in. I would love to hear that lots of you are doing these types of guides at your facility. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll catch you in the next video.